Auburn lose a couple of guys in the portal, but add a big piece as well. We take your comments and questions also on this live edition of the Up Tempo podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Man, what's up, everybody? Good evening. I'm your host, Dustin Smith, joined as always by my guy, Blake Lane. And Blake, before we hit record, bro, I'm looking down here at the bottom of my laptop. It's letting me know there's a weather alert because it's 26 degrees. You okay up there, baby?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. A long day of work, a cold day of work. I work in and out, so I had heater on the outside, man, and just tried to stay bundled up. But got through it, made it through it. Got some news about some portal guys from Auburn today, and Cam Riley and Donovan Kaufman, and like we always say, the portal giveth and the portal taketh, Dustin. So we got a big piece from Texas, big safety, everything like that. And I think we're going to be okay, brother. I think we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I was hoping from between now and the time we did our last episode, we were going to get some updates on some coordinators and have some big stuff to talk about. But we still waiting. We'll see how that goes. My hope, Blake, is that we're waiting on a guy that's coaching over there, the Houston Texans, as far as the DC goes. And we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on around the offensive coordinator, because there's a guy in Oxford, Mississippi, that it seemed a little bit upset about who Auburn's trying to bring in to call plays. So we'll get to that, man. Before we do, comment section already jumping, Blake. I want to get in here and holler at the family. Tim, the tool man, Taylor, what's up, baby? Sub-Zero 251. The 251 is in the Sub-Zero tonight. What's up, buddy? Our guy, Chris. Hey, I saw this right before we hit record. Chris saying Nate Oates is an absolute ace hat. I wonder what would happen if he pushed KD, CBM, or Broom. I dare him to push CBM, Chris. I dare him.
Man, how bad does that look? Like honestly, I'm taking the rivalry out of it real quick. All right, this is, I'm love Auburn to death, but let's take the rivalry out of it real quick, Dustin. How bad does that look that your head coach? I didn't even think it was that bad of a shove, but your head coach still put his hands on an opposing player. That ain't cool, man. Like, that ain't cool. That's like, I saw somebody tweet out just a minute ago that Juwan Howard, when he punched the coach and everything, like it's on that level. Yeah. Like, you put your hands on a kid, an administrator in a school, that they would be punished. So why isn't he? I don't know, man. It just a bad look.
Yeah, for sure. We've got Bill Hayes, 4-damn Eagle from Gaston, Alabama. It was weird, man. I can never see Bruce doing it. I can never see King Bruce doing it. Real quick, couple more comments. We're going to get into our first segment here, man. Trevor saying, what's up, fam? Can't lie. Waiting for the podcast since I realized it was Tuesday. Thank you, buddy. James, what's up, brother? Always in here, always supporting the content. We love you, James. Tim, the tool man. Taylor says, for sure, Trevor, Tuesdays suck, but they meet up tempo time. Hey, man, we just love having you guys in here. We love that you guys are sitting around all day looking forward to watching us come on here. So, Blake, like you mentioned, man, a new addition. I want to get into the addition first and then kind of transition into who he could be replacing here. Jerrin Thompson, the safety, 6 feet, 190 pounds. The Texas transfer actually had interception this year in Tuscaloosa. If he wants to do that for us this year in his trip in Tuscaloosa, I would greatly appreciate that. A big depth piece, Blake. We're losing a lot of experience back there. What are your expectations for Jerrin coming in?
For him to come in and hit the field running, to start, make big plays for Auburn. You're losing Zion back there, and you're losing Jalen. So you need a guy that's a veteran and that's played a lot of college football to step in. We know this is a talented group. We're not really too concerned about the secondary because we know what we do have back there. But anytime you can come in and a guy that's got, what has he got? Career 5 picks. I know this year he had 3 picks and I think he had like 7 PBUs. So, I mean, dude's around the football, and I'll take that. I think he had like 40 tackles this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it says right here that he had 83 tackles in 2022. And then it says that in his final, I'm reading our guy Caleb Jones off of Rivals. And then he says that in his final season with Texas in 2023, he intercepted 3 passes, a total of 126 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 5 career interceptions.
Yeah, there you go. So, a guy that's played a lot of football, man, and in a position of need. I'm down with it. And watching him pick off Milrow in Tuscaloosa, that got me a little bit more excited there, Dustin.
Yeah, adding 2 guys from Texas, kind of interesting to me, seeing how Texas is going to be joining the SEC. But he joins his former teammate Trill Carter coming over to Auburn. I think the experience is the big thing here because I know that Laquan Robinson is the highly touted #1 JUCO safety, right? But if you remember back 2 years ago, Marquise Gilbert was the #1, maybe #2 safety coming out of JUCO. JUCO's hit or miss, man. You just really don't know. You'll get a guy sometimes, and that ranking will pan out, and sometimes it doesn't. JUCO's kind of hard to gauge. So I expect Robinson to play well and come in and be the guy, but I don't know if he's even. I say that I'm sitting there thinking about Sylvester Smith. And I don't. I think Sylvester Smith's going to lock down that starting spot.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, looking at the 2 safeties, I'm going to go with Sylvester Smith and then Jerrin Thompson here. But a guy that's played in 48 career games, like you would hope that he can get back there, learn the defense pretty quickly, help the young guys out with the communications, because we're going to be bringing in a new DC. So we will have Crime Dog back, but that could help out maybe some with continuity and things like that. That's a voice they've heard before, but it will be a new DB or a new DC. It will be a new scheme, man. So getting a veteran guy like that to come in and help these young guys get everything set, hopefully it would help ease that transition, and we can kind of work out all the kinks there before our schedule really hits stride and we really get into SEC play. Get some of you guys' comments real quick on this one before we get over here and talk about some guys that decided to go elsewhere. Connie says, War Eagle up tempo needed tonight to have a grandbaby in the hospital in Austin. I need an AU. Wow. Well, Connie, I'll be praying for you tonight when I lay my head down, and I hope everything works out there. And I wanted to say real quick as well, Miss Devin. I don't know if Miss Devin's going to get to watch the replay or whatever, but our girl, Miss Devin, had a baby, but broke her ankle a couple of days before she's about the baby. She had a whole lot going on. So, Devin, if you watch this on the replay, we love you. We're thinking about you. We hope that you're doing okay. Yeah, me and Blake were talking about this before we hit record, Tim. Yeah. Tim says, I thought the portal was closed. All right, so just trying to put it together here. I'm assuming these guys hit before the 5-day after the bowl game deadline, and it's just now, for whatever reason, getting out. And to be fair, I was told, I wasn't given a name, but I was told during the weekend, maybe even a little bit before the weekend, there is going to be one more big name that pops, or at least a name that people will be like, oh, really? And then now looking at it, I kind of think that's Donovan Kaufman. But I didn't really, I knew like some more stuff was coming. But yeah, dude, these rules with the portal, y'all go back and watch our episode of a couple weeks ago. We don't know what they are. You guys don't know what they are. The coaches don't know what they are. It's a mess, Tim. It's a freaking mess, bro.
I don't think the portal has rules. I don't think the portal has rules. I really don't, bro. Show me where we're enforcing rules in college football today. Please. I would love for somebody to come on this show and let's talk about it. Let's have an open discussion. We can make some coffee. We can have some cheese and crackers or whatever you want to do, and show me where the rules are at for NIL and the portal, because I don't see it, man. Like Dustin said, unless they put their paperwork in and they didn't want it released until today, or I don't know how it works. It's a mystery, honestly. I don't get it.
It's crazy. And I want to say this though. I listened to the Washington, Kalen, whatever, DeBoer going to Alabama, right? I guess I need to learn the guy's name now. I just don't pay attention to Pac-12, Blake. I don't. But just sue me. But I like defense and running the football.
Yeah.
But I watched that speech that he gave to his team, or listened to it, and it's hard to get on kids for getting in the portal like that when a coach can just up and leave. And I have no problem with him up and leaving and taking, but it's like he didn't even have the balls to stand up and say, hey man, I'm leaving. This is why. It was like 10 minutes of him dancing around. And I'm listening to that and I'm thinking, yeah, I can't blame any of the kids for hitting the portal. This guy stole him a dream. He stole him a vision. And then he can't even stand up here in front of. He literally said, Blake, this man literally said, I hope you guys stay the course and see it through. as he's not staying the course and seeing it through.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Dude, look, the Kalen DeBoer thing, him going to Alabama and everything, and we talk about speeches and press conferences and, just how fast it happened. And obviously he was Alabama's #1 guy, right? Straight off the rip. That's how the national media spins it. But I listened to that same thing, and it was just funny how he just kept dancing around, getting to the point and just saying, "Hey, look, I'm out of here." Right?
Right.
He wouldn't do it. So, yeah, man, those kids, they get a 30-day window. Like Isaiah Bond, when he found out Saban retired, he got a 30-day window, and that is where we're coming into. That is where we're coming into problems. Is it's you have this rule over here. Well, if a coach leaves, you get a 30-day window. If you play in your bowl game, you get 5 days. The portal closes on January 2nd of 2024, but for those guys that play on January 1st, they get 5 more days after January 2nd, and so like it's just weird, man. It's weird. So Washington and Michigan, when they played on the 8th or whatever, they got extended periods of time to enter the portal. So it's a mess, man. It's a mess, and the portal is insane.
Yeah, for sure. And then let's see. James says that little Tua not getting an additional year is kind of enforcing the rules. We'll see if they stand by this, bro. Because I'm thinking of the kid from North Carolina right off rip, where as soon as they got some flack, they let him play. And I don't know the details of that situation. The kid may have well deserved to play. But I'm just saying. And yeah, this is the point here. What you got, buddy?
No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that this is kind of the point here, though. The weakest link saying, well, it seems like the rules are being selectively enforced. It's like, yeah. And then he gives the FSU example. When I saw this, and everyone knows I love to take shots at FSU, but really? Like, there's another team in Florida, a little further down south in Tallahassee, that I promise you could be investigating for all sorts of NIL violations. What the hell are you doing in Tallahassee?
It brings me, transition perfect to what I was going to say is, one thing I also believe in is if we're going to really crack down on all of this, when you say, "Hey, I'm declaring for the NFL draft," that means you're declaring. All right. That means you're going, and because it's going to make kids think twice about making that leap. And Cam Ward did that. And I think it was a money move. It was him saying, well, if Miami really wants me, all right, they're going to up the ante, because I'm saying that I'm going to the NFL draft. Right. And then here comes Miami, and they're like, no, please don't go to the NFL draft. Come back here and take this NIL. That's the kind of things, man. There's no rules. And it's just open, man. Everything's wide open. It's insane. Tomorrow you will hear of more people hitting the portal, maybe not from Auburn, but just across the country. Right. There, a random name's going to pop up, and you're just going to be like, man, I thought the portal closed a month ago. Like, it's weird, man. It's weird. We're in a weird time of college football.
For sure. Nick Saban, get on it, baby. The Ohio podcast says the NCAA has no teeth. I agree with you there. Second part, though, just look at Harbaugh and the cheaters from Michigan. Look, man, I'll just say this. If Jim Harbaugh still cheated to beat Bama and then still cheated to beat Washington, then they deserve it. Then after all of that scandal, if they still stole those 2 team signs, then they just deserve to do it, because they're just the best at it then, and just let them get away with it. I personally am of the belief system. I think pretty logical that they didn't cheat, steal signs or whatever it is to beat Alabama. That would be pretty freaking ballsy. Yeah. And they would have had to been geniuses to get away with it with everybody watching. Same thing with Washington. Michigan proved they're the best team, bro. Michigan is the best team in the country. They got the title. Yep. I get the beef, I'm guessing, by the Ohio podcast. Look, we're Auburn. We'll throw our shade at Bama. I totally get it, brother. But, hey, y'all had a chance to beat them. You didn't do it. They beat y'all a couple years in a row. They're the national champions, buddy. It is what it is.
You ain't got to worry about Harbaugh anymore, because apparently he's going to the Chargers. So
bad move, man. Well, that's the NFL discussion. We'll leave that. All right. Banners, though. Let's see. All right, guys, leaving Blake.
Yep.
Donovan Kaufman and Cam Riley, we got the news today. They were entering the transfer portal. And I'll give my little thoughts here first. I don't think these are either really big losses. I was kind of wanting to see Cam Riley get moved to edge, maybe beef up a little bit, and see in the spring if he can make some progress to that position, and then see in the fall if he kind of develop. Because I still think that we're about a year away. We got the young guys like Waller coming in. We'll see if Phillips stays at maybe a more traditional defensive end. If he stays at an edge, we'll kind of see how his body plays out and how his game develops. But I think we got young pieces on the edge. We got the young kid who I always forget his name out of Opelika that came in and kind of jumped Wilkie to nod. So we got the pieces, man. They're just young. So I would have liked to seen Cam get in there and maybe make something happen on the edge. And then DK, bro. DK is a playmaker, a ball hawk, around the ball a lot. Can make some big plays, but he had some things he struggled with in coverage and all that. And I just feel like, we really saw Donovan before he kind of started having the injuries this year. We saw Ron Roberts using his skill set in a unique way. And now with Ron Roberts obviously not being here, he's probably going to be asked to move back to the secondary, most likely, right? And I just think they have a lot of young guys in that secondary that they're like, hey, dude, these guys are coming in and they're gonna get your spot. So that kind of is what it is. I just don't know. I'm not saying they got forced out, but I think that Donovan kind of saw the writing on the wall. And then for Cam as well, man, he's had his ups and downs. We've always kind of felt like there was more there to get, and we just never got it. So two guys that I think have a lot of potential. They're running out of time to reach it, so I hope they reach it elsewhere, man.
Yeah, I'll start with Cam Riley and kind of just mirror what you said. Is like I was really excited to see Cam go to the edge position and see if we could get a freak pass rusher. Because I always felt like that was his game, bro. Was getting to the quarterback, and at the linebacker spot, he overran plays at times, and he just outdid his assignment sometimes. And we go back to that Georgia game, and you think about that pick. If he catches that ball, Auburn probably wins that football game. And it just felt like with injuries and everything that happened in Cam's career, he could just never get it right at Auburn. And it's come to this of him hitting the portal. I don't think this is devastating news. Like I said, I would have loved to seen Cam Riley come back. But, he decides to go elsewhere. That's fine. Donovan Kaufman, a 5'9" nickel guy that, he struggled in coverage. And, he forced a couple turnovers, and he was great coming off that corner for Ron Roberts and coming on disguised blitzes and everything like that. But once again, man, there's some talent in that room back there, and I just kind of looking at whoever's the new DC, is he going to fit what they're trying to do? And it's just kind of, I think he was kind of in lingo of, I don't, should I stay? Should I go? And this was his decision at the end of the day. And I'm not going to knock either one of these guys. I think they're both great football players and love what they did in their time at Auburn. And I hope they find success. And I hope they, are soon to pick a school and, get out of the portal. And because a lot of guys get left in the portal, y'all.
Right.
And that's one of the major knocks on the portal is there's so many kids in there, and there's so many kids who get left out and nowhere to go. So hopefully these two guys find a destination.
Yeah, I always, like, hey, man, negotiate.
Yeah.
Get tampered with, right?
Yep.
Like, have a spot ready. Blake, I saw a big comment over here, bro. Where you at? Jamie Reese says, hello, y'all mind giving a shout out to my boy Whitman? I'm not going to attempt a last name. I'm sorry, Jamie. I'm not going to do it. He was born today, 5 pounds, 10 ounces at Sacred Heart in Pensacola, Florida. Let's go, baby. No doubt he is a 5-star Auburn football signee. I like that. I like that a lot. Congratulations, Jamie. Sacred Heart literally saved my life. That is not an exaggeration. I went in there in bad shape as a child, and they hooked me up. So great hospital, awesome people over there, and hell yeah, man, new member of the Auburn family. We love to see it. So War Damn Eagle, Jamie.
War Damn, Jamie, that's awesome. Hey, just brought little Levi in the world. He turned 6 months yesterday. So yeah, time's moving.
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir, it is. Yeah, Tim Tool, man, you got to get tampered with, baby. You got to don't hop in there with no playing now. You're gonna get
That's a
left in the
fact.
dust. I can tell y'all some stories about some.
You know though, like Judkins at Ole Miss, I think he got a call from Ohio State, and then he goes and commits to Ohio State, and then they bring Travion Henderson back. So, I mean, like you're going there to be the main guy, and then they bring Travion Henderson in, and you're gonna have to split carries. So, like, once again, man, the portal, it's a crazy business. It's because that's what it is now, as a business.
Yeah, definitely. It's brutal. You want to get paid, it's gonna and like me and Blake said, free agency has rules in the NFL. There's got to be a structure here. But Blaine, my question I wanted to ask you, brother, and y'all can get in the comments and tell me as well. What is this man in Oxford, Mississippi doing right now? If you do not have social media, let me kind of inform you as to what's taken place over the last 48 hours. And if you're one of the people that is like me before I got into this business and is like, social media is stupid, just hear me out. It is stupid. But these official accounts and it's people speaking, right?
Yep.
They're putting out their thoughts. So it is worthy of note that the Ole Miss official football account over the past 2 days has decided to tweet out things like freeze warning and then videos of them scoring on Auburn, final scores with snowflakes and freeze emojis. Lane Kiffin has been, because the story here, best we can understand it, is everyone knows, or if you don't know, it appears like Hugh Freeze's candidate to take over at OC is his longtime buddy Derek Nix. But Derek Nix has been at Ole Miss for 16 years. My understanding of it is, and don't quote me on this part of it, is that there's some kind of something in the contract for the guy at Ole Miss saying he can't leave and call plays. He can't leave if he's not calling plays. He has to leave for some position where he's calling. I've never heard of this, so I don't know how true it is, but I've seen it written in a couple of different places. That's crazy in itself. I've never heard of that. But Kiffin is not taking this well, and he has been tagging the articles of Coach Freeze where he said he will be taking over play calling. He's just been tweeting those out in the open, tagging Coach Freeze, saying, well, how are you going to take my guy Derek Nix? Because I got a contract stipulation right here saying he's supposed to call plays, blah, 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 blah. At the same time, I'm being told that if Hugh Freeze wants Derek Nix, that stipulation in his contract is not going to be a problem. I don't know, Blake. It's a big mess. Here's what I do know. That this is the stuff right here. This is Blake's point. And if you've been listening to us for a long time, Blake's been saying this for years. This is why Bama ain't going to hire you, bro. This is why Bama ain't going to hire you. And this is why A&M ain't going to give you no consideration. This is the kind of stuff that will keep you at Ole Miss. Because Ole Miss don't care. At Ole Miss, you can tweet out some goofy stuff about, Auburn, stealing your high school kicker from right out your backyard, and then the kid signs with Auburn. At Ole Miss, they don't care about that. It's still funny to them. Lane being Lane. At Ole Miss, they don't care that he throws his headset up and says, get your popcorn ready, and then gets his ass drilled for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
They don't care. They think it's cute. They think it's funny. My God, I can't wait for Saturday night. We'll get to that later in the week. But Blake, is this not the most just ridiculous, clownish crap you've seen from an SEC head coach in a long time?
Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing here is when he went to Ole Miss, we all see how in love he is with Alabama. He went under Nick Saban. He paid his dues. He ran that offense to absolute perfection. And I think what Alabama was really looking for was for Lane to go out, grow up. You know, he spent time at Florida Atlantic, goes to Ole Miss, grow up, all right, mature as a head coach, take Ole Miss from bottom feeder in the SEC West to a competitor, which he has done. And then eventually, hey, you might be the next head coach at the University of Alabama. But like Dustin says, and I've been saying this when every Alabama fan I know says, Blake, he's going to be the next head coach at Alabama. No, he's not. You want to know why? Alabama operates on military time. All right. They're a military. Watch how Saban runs his program. Everybody wears the same thing on the sidelines. All assistant coaches, trainers, GAs, whatever. They are dressed identically alike. All right. It's just straight to the point. That's how he is. All right. When they do something on the practice field, it is do it until it's perfection. All right. They run like it's the military. And that's how they handle business at Alabama. Now, Lane Kiffin runs, I know better high school coaches that run it better. All right. Like, I know high school coaches right now in Mobile that could get on the internet and troll all day and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to beat you by 50 Friday night. All right.
Right.
But guess what? They don't do it. You want to know why? Because they're adults. They're adults. All right. Look, and I know he's a young guy and he's got some swagger about him and everything like that. But dog, when you start tagging other coaches on social media and just tweeting it out there, and then you're atting Alabama about Isaiah Bond taking a Lamborghini from Texas and all this stuff, like, bro, look in the mirror. You are why you didn't get the Alabama job. You're why they didn't even consider you because of that reason and other reasons of when you were in Tuscaloosa that we won't bring up. But because of that reason, you are that guy that where you can't grow up and you can't stay off the internet, dog. And that's why nobody takes you serious. And that's just, I think he's a hell of a coach. I do. I think he's a top offensive mind in college football. I mean, he's got Ole Miss competing, man, and they're going to have a great team next year. But you can't tell me the competitor in him, a guy that's been at USC and an OC at Alabama, head coach at USC, that is a top 5 college football program in history.
Tennessee.
A guy that's been at Tennessee, all right, and you've been an OC under Nick Saban, and you're telling me you're okay with being the head coach at Ole Miss? Get out of here, dog! I don't believe that for a second. That there's no truth to that.
Coach of the Raiders, head coach of the Raiders before.
Yeah, like for a fact, as soon as he saw the news of Nick Saban retiring, he wanted that job. But guess what? They never come a knocking because you're immature, you troll, you at other coaches on Twitter, which it's weird at this point. It's really weird because, like Dustin said, Ole Miss fans, they double down on it. And I don't know how you can double down on something when you haven't won anything ever. All right? Ever. Like since Archie Manning was your quarterback. All right? And then the one time that you are competitive in 1998, guess what? You tie in the West with your rival. All right. And you lose the Egg Bowl to Mississippi State, so they go to Atlanta. How crushing is that? So guess what? You still haven't played in Atlanta because you're mid. All right. I was about to use another word there, but you're mid. I'll leave it at that. All right. That's a 3-letter word to replace it. And you'll always be mid. So I just think he's still got growing up to do, man. And it's like, I could just never see Hugh winning the Iron Bowl, all right, and getting in a party bus with his quarterback, smoking a cigar, all right, and saying, "Yeah, we're smoking that Bulldog pack." Like, has Nick Saban ever done that? No. Like,
No,
it's just does Josh Heupel do it? No. Like, look, if you're gonna do something, do it like Eli Drinkwitz did to Josh Heupel. He walked up to Josh Heupel and said, "Hey, we stand on business here at Missouri, face to face, dog." He didn't do it behind the internet. He went face to face and said, "Hey, guess what? You might have beat my tail last year, and you might have kicked my teeth in, but guess what? I got you this year, and I ran it up on you because I stand on business."
Yeah,
that's how you do it.
Facts. I agree with you. Let's see. Have some questions here, Blake. So people were concerned about. Let's see. Here we go. Matt Ellis says negative perspectives are getting pushed hard right now because of lack of coordinator hires. It would be nice to get that done. Matt, I understand. We want to get the hires in here. We want to get our guys. Trust me, as content creators, me and Blake definitely are like, hey, if you want to go ahead and announce these guys so we can
Yeah.
quit having to say the same stuff every episode, that'd be cool. So yeah, I definitely feel you. There's just like looking at the Derek Nix situation, seems like there's some contract stuff in play here. I mean, I can't imagine it would go past longer than this week. And then looking at the DC situation, it seems like we could be waiting on Chris Kiffin, who was coaching with the Texans, and there's the Zach Arnett as well. DJ Durkin's name is out there. Just gonna be upfront with you guys. That happens. I'm not gonna be too fired up about it. Won't have a whole lot of positive stuff to say about it, and I will be real and tell you how I feel about it. I'm hoping though that the other two guys, I'm cool with Zach Arnett, I'm cool with Chris Kiffin, so I'm hoping that it's one of those two guys, man, and we see how that goes. But I don't think there's any time to. I think there's no time to rush here, Blake. We got time. It's not crucial. The only guy you really got out there is Ryan Williams. These things aren't really going to affect him, right? Because Hugh's really your OC, so Ryan knows that, and Hugh's really calling your plays, and then obviously defense doesn't matter to him. So just like looking at it from the recruiting sense, there's really not a whole lot to sweat. I mean, maybe with the portal, but I would say, man, with like 7-10 days, this will all be wrapped up. So I really wouldn't worry about it too much.
Can I get one thing off my chest real quick about
ahead, brother?
Y'all? Look. Let's be real quick. All right. I see all of this stuff. I'm not a fan of message boards and everything, right?
Yeah.
I get on there and everybody's like, oh, Ryan Williams took a visit last night to Tuscaloosa. It's over. Just give up on him. Hey, why are we doing that? Why are we giving up on the best player in the country? I don't get it. I don't. Why are our fans like what? You just want to keep taking L's to Alabama?
Yeah, luckily you don't think that way.
Yeah. Exactly, because guess what? Marcus Davis and Trevon Reed and Charles Kelly were in his house Friday morning, so they don't think like that. Right. And I'll tell you this: Ryan just didn't drive up from Mobile to Tuscaloosa. Like he ran track in Birmingham. All right, so like let's. Okay, he went to meet the new coaching staff. Cool. Like he was gonna do that. He's going there this weekend. He's gonna do that. That's just part of recruiting. The kid's gonna take visits. He went to Texas A&M this weekend. All right. He changed his Instagram picture to A&M. Him holding a Texas A&M belt. Everybody's like, so well, we gave up on Ryan. It's Texas A&M. They're gonna drop a back. Dog, he's not going to Texas A&M. All right. It's just not. It's like I said last episode, it's a 3-team race, and I still think with T-Rob leaving Alabama and not coming back, I just we got to stop as a fan base of everybody's just like, oh, I'm sick of this kid. Stop. He's a kid, man. He's enjoying the process of being recruited. Let me tell y'all something. He earned this. All right.
That's a fact.
He earned the right to troll whoever he's trolling. Now, I get it. I'm one of those people that, I'm you commit and you go.
Yeah.
All right. But he did earn the right to go through this process. And he's the best player in the country. So I had to get that off my chest real quick because I just keep seeing everybody there's like, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. Now to the coordinator hires, Dustin, I think Hugh knows. It's not like we're sitting out here on a just on a complete mystery of who it's going to be. Hugh knows. He's not fooled. Like he's not out here guessing. He's not out here interviewing 12 to 15 guys saying, man, I just don't know. I just don't know who I'm going to grab. And I saw somebody today say, well, Alabama sure did hire quickly. Alabama had to hire quickly. Like they had to put a staff together. Like they got a new coach. He had to bring his guys in. Like that's how it works like that. Hugh can take his time. Hugh can maneuver. It's just, we got to be patient.
Yeah, and like you said, maybe he already has his guys, and there are situations that need to be worked out. This is not the first time that a coach, an assistant coach in the NFL has come to college, and the college team had to wait. It's just so we'll just, and that might not be the case here. It could be a Zach Arnett or whatever, but there's just a lot of things in play here. You have contracts, you have families. If we get 10 to 14 more days down the line, then you'll see me start to panic. But guys, we're hearing good things as far as the way this is all going to play out. So just be patient. But I totally understand it. We're not going to get Eric Kiesald though. I promise.
Yeah.
I promise we're not going to get Kiesald. I understand everybody's angst though. I really do. Stan from Cleveland says once again Blake nails it. Man should have been a preacher. Yeah. Blake's ordained minister. You didn't know? You didn't know about Brother Blake?
From Cleveland, Ohio.
Are you up there right now, Stan? If so, I'm praying for you, buddy, because I can barely stand around here. We got a Texas fan in here telling us that Jerrin Thompson is so bad. And then he says Bond is him. Man, life comes fast.
Yeah.
Maybe Bond is him. I would tell you that Isaiah Bond is a trash human. But that's neither here nor there. But but maybe he is. You know what I'm saying? And he could be. Sylvester Smith isn't trash. So if Jerrin Thompson is trash, then he's just not going to see the field. We've had guys before. Greg McDonald. Greg McDonald came in. He was also from the whack ass Big 12, and he came in and he was he came in and he was like a Big 12 all second team or something, and then he never even saw the field. So I'm not even gonna we'll see, brother. You could be right. I'm not gonna say I haven't seen the kid play that much. So
you remember what I said after the 4th and goal from the 31?
Yeah, that Big 12 football.
I said that's exactly what Big 12 teams do. Rush 2 and leave a spy from 31 yards out. Leave a spy. That's what Big 12 teams do. That's what they play.
For sure. Bond is him. Obviously a Texas fan. Tell us in the comments, what is Texas going to do first year in the SEC? Let's see. Connie says, Lane is not going to end up in Tuscaloosa. You have to wear socks and comb your hair. Yeah, it makes sense. They don't like drunk tweets.
Yep. That's not how they operate.
And it was so funny because he was at the Bucs game last night. If you don't know, his dad, Monty Kiffin, is a Bucs legend, DC with the Bucs. He's in the Bucs Hall Ring of Honor. So his dad's name is actually on the stadium. And Lane tweeted out his dad's like plaque on top of the stadium in the Ring of Honor and said something like Dad would be proud or something. This was a great game. Go Bucs, something like that. And that's when it all clicked. I was like, oh, he's out of Tampa getting drunk. Oh, okay. Okay. He's on the water. He's fresh water. Okay. He drunk. I got you, Lane. I see you.
Yeah, Joey Freshwater is also a reason why he is not getting a call to Tuscaloosa.
Joey Freshwater, Blake, might have played a part in why he didn't come to Auburn, but we'll never know. Let's see. Tim the Toolman Taylor says Bond actually isn't him. Ask Bama fans. Stan from Cleveland down here in Columbus. It's dang cold in Ohio, bro. Yeah, I believe it. I mean, I'm right here, man, in the panhandle of Florida, and it's telling me it's 26 degrees. So I'm sure that up there it's something stupid.
Yeah, and we don't do cold weather down here.
No.
And the thing like down here is when it gets this cold, it rains on top of it. And so like this morning when I woke up, I go to leave and I leave at 4:30 every morning. And Dustin, it's pouring sleet. Like it's just hammering my truck.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here going, man, this ride to work is going to be absolutely insane. 4 wrecks on 65. There's fire trucks everywhere all over the interstate. And I'm just like, dude, like, come on, man. And the whole time I just look over and it's just like 26 degrees. And I'm just like, this is awful, man. So
yeah, it's tough. P-Pass says McDonald saw about 30 snaps. P-Pass, I'm going to tell you what we heard, brother. Too slow. Drexel, and I hope if he still has eligibility, I hope you do well, man. Drexel, Kilpatrick, all I know is we better have some wins next year and win the games we're supposed to win. War Eagle. I do feel you on the win your game supposed to win. You can't stack up too many more New Mexico states. Those better be one-offs. You get too many more of those, you're not going to last long. But as far as beating teams we're not supposed to beat next year, we'll see how this roster comes together. We don't even have our coordinators right now. Let's just kind of see what the plan's going to be. and then I can kind of speak more on that. But just looking at the roster as it sits, me and Blake are already kind of saying, hey, set your expectations realistically now. It's going to be a young team, and that should excite you in some ways because we've seen Auburn have 3 losing seasons in a row and really struggle with no hope for the future. And I can see, I don't mind seeing a bunch of 4 and 5 stars come together as a team and take their lumps. We go 7-5 next year, blow some games that we had and all that kind of stuff. Young guys make mistakes, but we look at it and say, okay, these young guys are building. Then I'm more than cool, bro. I would take that over getting a whole bunch of portal guys that have a year of eligibility and going 9-3, and then being right back in the same boat. I really would.
That's the way we were talking about. Remember how we were talking about the Cam Ward stuff?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, Cam Ward to Auburn, Cam Ward to Auburn. I'm like, guys, Cam Ward is not coming to Auburn. It's just not going to happen. It was never happening. It wasn't. I don't care what anybody says. He was never coming to Auburn. No. All right. Because your coach showed you that he's worried about the high school recruiting. All right, and he said it. That's the reason we didn't really smash the portal is because we want to build this program out of high school, period. All right, so I look at Mike Norvell down at Florida State. I look at Mike. Guys, he struggled. First 2 years out the gate at Florida State, he struggled. And Florida State was like, hey, you better start turning it around or you're going to end up out of here. All right. What did Mike Norvell do? Bang. They had a pretty good year last year. I think they won 9 games in a bowl, something like that.
Yeah.
I think they beat Oklahoma in their bowl. I think they went like 10-3 or something. They come back this year undefeated. Unfortunate that they all sat out in the bowl game. I think they still would have lost, but they went undefeated in the regular season. So Eli Drinkwitz, look at his time at Mizzou. He come in during COVID. One of the worst times you could possibly come in during COVID, took that program over, and now look at them. They're Cotton Bowl champs. 4 years later, it takes time. We have to get out of the mindset of win right now or you're fired. Because I'm telling you, that's what's about to happen across the state is the first time they're going to say, man, was this the right hire?
Yep.
Was this the guy? And you still got the old guy sitting up in an office watching over everything going, man, should I have retired? Like, is this the guy? You got to give people time, man. It's just how it is with everything going on, like Dustin with the portal. And Dustin said that, you don't want to go get a bunch of guys and come in and just win 9 games and then bang, you ain't got nobody left. Because guess what? You got to go right back into the portal. Yeah. Like somebody we were just talking about, Lane Kiffin. That's how he operates. So it's just, there's levels to it, man. There's levels to it. So next year, we come in this year and we had people saying, man, 10-2, Auburn's beating this team, and we're just losing to Georgia and Alabama. That's it. And we were like, I don't know. Like they're like, we even made an episode where there was a path to get to 8-4. Like that was it. We didn't go any further than that. We were just like, hey, here's the path to 8-4. Can we do it? All right. Like, can we get to 8-4? We didn't say, can we get to 10 or 9? So just, it takes time, man. Like year 2, I know Tennessee, last year, I know they won 10 games. They had Hendon Hooker and that explosive offense. Like, that's cool. If we won 10 games, I'd be extremely excited. Dustin and I are just saying, like, hey, bring it down a little bit. Let's let things play out and see how they go.
Yeah, listen. You give Mr. Potato Head the keys to the toy box, and, when Andy ain't home, and it can get real, brother. It can get real. Hopefully Woody and Buzz can get in there and get things right. But right now, just things happen. It just takes a little bit of time to get that bedroom cleaned up, bro. It takes time to get that toy box right.
That loser still wants to talk about, man.
Yeah, he's an Instagram superstar. Samuel the Sniper says Antonio Cott expected to visit Auburn tomorrow per J. Lee.
Let's go.
Samuel, listen, and everybody else. Tune in Friday, 10 a.m. It might have a special guest. It might drop some recruit knowledge on y'all. If you're into recruiting, you're going to like Friday's episode for sure. Everybody checking in with the freeze warnings. Tim the Toolman Taylor says it is 15 degrees in Chattanooga, home of the UTC Mocs. Good God. It's going to be 18 in the morning when I wake up here. The weakest link says 17 in Birmingham. Never a good sign when your temperature is Jason Campbell. Connie says it is Cadillac Williams in Wetumpka. That's no good. 24 there. 22 busy. Woo-wee. Says it is negative Tank Bigsby in Dallas-Fort Worth.
One of my favorite cities, bro. Dallas-Fort Worth, one of my favorite places to go. I went for the Auburn-Oregon game back in 19, and I'm telling you right now, that place is awesome. I love that place. If you need to go to Jerry's World, well, you can't because they got waxed. So maybe next year because Dak ain't it. All right. I hope my dad's watching this.
Cam tried to tell y'all.
Tried to tell him, hey, that's a shot at my pops because he's a big Cowboys fan. So I had to throw that shot in there. America's got to pick a different team because the Cowboys ain't it.
Hey, I will say, though, they are an accurate representation of what's going on right now. Okay. Listen, we're about to get out of here, man, about 5-10 minutes. Start getting your last-second comments in here. Blake, we've been talking, kind of alluding to some NFL tonight, and I wanted to – I'm gonna turn to my Bucks for a minute, but I'm not going to talk about my Bucks. Last night, Carlton Davis, if you didn't watch it, the Bucks manhandled the Philadelphia Eagles. Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, KJ Britt, bro.
Yep.
All over the field. Devin White was a top 10 pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of LSU. He's been, I don't say benched, but he's been substituted. He's still getting some reps, but them first and second down snaps have been given to KJ Britt. You've got Carlton Davis over there, and you've got Jamel Dean, who just had one of the best games of his career, locking it down on the corners. And you know that Derek Brown set the all-time record for tackles for a defensive tackle. You got two brothers that are miss about one every 20 field goal attempts. I could go on and on and on. The point I'm making to you is that you can come to Auburn, you can get to the NFL, and you can ball out. There are countless examples. And this is while Auburn has been down bad. So right now, Blake, you've got so many guys coming into this class. Cam Coleman, DeMarcus Riddick. We could go on and on, right? TJ Lindsey. There are a lot of guys that you're like, boy, Perry Thompson. You know, I mean, I don't. All the receivers really like. If this hits, these guys could seriously make a run and do some things in the league. I'm watching these guys do this last night for my Bucks, and I'm just like, first off, I'm like, we need a safety, so Jalen Simpson, come on down. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, we're doing this as Auburn, 3 starters on a playoff winning team on defense. And I know those guys come from they came from a time when Auburn was a little bit more on steady ground, but we weren't great. I say it all the time. Auburn's lost at least 4 games every year since the kick 6 year. Man, if you're a high school kid and you're out there listening, come to Auburn, bro. Come to Auburn. There is a path to get to the league and be successful. There's this thing that these Bama fans try to sell. You go to Auburn and your career dies. It's just not true. It's just not true. If you can play ball, the NFL is going to find you if you're at North Alabama or anywhere else. But you can come to Auburn, man. And I'm just telling you, there's countless examples of guys in the NFL right now that are succeeding in their position that come from Auburn. And if you do it the right way, if you do Auburn the right way, then you'll get treated the way Cadillac's been treated. You'll get treated the way Cam Newton and Nick Fairley and Zach Etheridge and all these guys get treated. A guy like Cam Martin, who never had a great career at Auburn, but is just loved by Auburn. And every time he comes back to the Plains, he gets shown his love. I'm telling you, man, Auburn is the place. You can accomplish anything you want to accomplish at Auburn. And I think that we're getting in guys, Blake, that I would say in 5-6 years, I think we're going to start looking at NFL numbers and being like, you're going to slowly seeing Auburn on the rise. You're going to slowly start seeing Auburn on the rise. Now, these last couple of years, we haven't pumped in the guys in the pros that I want to see us be pumping in, but that starts on the recruiting trail. A lot of people like to say stars don't matter. That's false.
They do.
Stars aren't everything is the appropriate saying. Stars aren't everything. Yes, there are your Roger McCreary's where everybody missed. And I actually had Roger McCreary was looked at a lot by my Bucks, right? When he was at the Senior Bowl. Yep. So I asked a guy that covered Tampa Bay. I asked him what was he hearing on Roger McCreary and Tampa, talking. And he said there's no way that he said it doesn't really matter because Roger McCreary will be out the league in 2 years because his arms are too short. That's what this guy told me. I'll just say this guy's no longer in media. He doesn't have credentials anymore. His website kind of fell apart, and obviously Roger McCreary is doing his damn thing. But so there's examples, man, all over the field, and development's crucial, all that kind of stuff. But I just want to say, bro, this narrative that's out there, and then it kind of ties into what we had earlier, where people were saying about the coordinators. So well, the narrative's it's looking bad. Blake, I don't want to just drop F-bombs. I don't care what the national media says about Auburn. I'm going to tell y'all right now about our guy, Chris Lowe. Okay. He came in on a Wednesday after every single Auburn outlet on a Friday had reported that Hugh Freeze was going to be calling the plays. He comes out on Wednesday and goes, I got a scoop. Hugh Freeze is calling the plays. And everyone ran with it. And ESPN ran an article like it was just breaking news and all this stuff. Something me and Blake really talked about that Saturday morning for an hour.
Yeah.
So something we alluded to that was going to happen for weeks before the season ended. So just don't pay attention to the national media, man. Let all that stuff go. And the last thing I'm going to say, Blake, if you were going to that game Saturday night versus Ole Miss, boo them boys. You hear me? It's sports. I'm not saying if you see the Ole Miss bus at the gas station, you got to be mean to them and throw eggs at them. I'm not suggesting that, but man, what is this stuff I'm seeing on social media about? Let's not boo Ole Miss when they run on the court. Why? Because one player that used to play for us transferred over there. Boy, you missed me with that one. That's the Ole Miss Rebels. They've been talking all week, and I'm gonna really. I don't think they're that good. Nope. I don't think they're that good at basketball. They're coming into Neville Arena Saturday night. It better be the most hostile atmosphere that Neville Arena has seen all year. And I said that was my last thing. One last thing, Blake. Shout out to the Auburn women's basketball team for putting them LSU ladies in their place and showing them that you can't come to Neville Arena. Shout out to the Auburn crowd, the largest crowd to ever show up to a women's game. We all need to be supportive of those ladies going forward for the rest of the season. They are working hard, like Coach Harris said. Shout out to Coach Harris. You're doing a great job. And LSU, you came into Neville and you got swept right out, okay? Basketball is what we do. And you're going to say, oh, baseball. Yeah, you won the national title, but I came down to Baton Rouge and took a series from you. You didn't beat me.
Dustin, I am going to close this out real quick. I wanted to answer my boy Jeff's question. And he says, does Thorne give up that number for Perry? Auburn family, I'll be honest with you right here. I think Thorne gives up the number for Ryan Williams and Perry wears 11 to honor Julio Jones in the NFL.
Okay.
That's just me. I'm throwing it out there. I could be totally wrong. I'm throwing it out there. Look, Perry and Julio, same high school. I know Julio went to Bama. Perry's a big fan. I know Perry's going to Auburn, but put Perry in 11. Let Ryan rock 1. And let's ride. All right. I would like that. And my closing thing is nothing to do with Auburn, but I'm going a different route tonight. And this has to do with Dustin's Bucks. I watched a guy last night play quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mm-hmm. And this is a guy who was the number 1 pick to the Cleveland Browns. He took Cleveland to the playoffs. And then afterwards, he dealt with an injury, played through an injury, and they canned him. He went to Carolina. It didn't work out. He went to L.A. He played pretty well in L.A. for the short amount of time he was there. He comes to Tampa. Dustin, what was the words around Tampa when he got there? Baker can't do this. Baker can't do that. Why did Tampa do this? Like
he was going to lose out to Kyle Trask, is what the local media was saying.
Exactly. Kyle Trask was going to beat Baker. Baker's lost it. He was a wasted number 1 pick.
Locker room problem.
Big ego, always about himself. They would always play him in the Kansas clip of him grabbing himself and saying, "Go play basketball." Like, look, let's give Baker Mayfield his flowers real quick and say, "Hey, brother, you proved everybody wrong. All right. And you deserve it." Because, dude, ever since he got picked to be a number 1 pick, he has been through hell.
Yeah.
He's constantly been doubted by the national media, and these clowns get on ESPN every day on their talk show host, and they say, "Oh, well, Baker Mayfield ain't got it. Baker Mayfield, he's small, he's undersized, no arm strength, and he's just not that number 1 pick. He can't change a franchise." Man, Baker Mayfield's doing it. Baker Mayfield is getting it done. He beat Jalen Hurts last night.
Yes, sir.
All right. I know the Eagles are struggling, but guess what? He did it, man. He did something everybody has been telling him that he can't do.
Following Tom Brady, Blake, how hard is that, bro?
That's a great point too. I left that out. Following Tom Brady, man, and you come in and you lead the Bucs to the playoffs when a lot of people didn't think you could do it this year. A lot of people were hammering the Saints after they signed Derek Carr, saying that the Saints with Alvin Kamara coming back healthy, that they were going to take the division and all of this stuff.
Ooh, I love this segment.
And Bake Show got it done. He deserves it, Dustin. He deserves some love, man, because he's been through it and he's battle tested. And now he gets to go on to you get to go on to the divisional game and play Detroit. And, I laughed at the clip. The old dude didn't even know Detroit played in the dome and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and shout out to a former Auburn player, Kerryon Johnson. He had a 4-year stint with the Detroit Lions in the NFL and everything. And his body just couldn't let him, go any further. And it happens like that sometimes. But he was at the game over the weekend watching the Lions advance into the playoffs. And, I just think that's pretty cool for Kerryon to be able to go up there and support his NFL team. So, man, let's do better, guys.
Smash that like. They getting on y'all in the chat. Get them.
Yeah.
Get them.
Love that, Jeff. Appreciate it. Tim, Toolman, Taylor, love that, man. So, man, congrats to Baker Mayfield. Because he got it done last night, and I'm proud of him. Just seeing him have a smile on his face, dude, after everything he's been through. I enjoyed it, Dustin.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate that. That was fun. I like that one, Blake.
Yeah,
bro. Last night was a blast, bro. I've always loved Baker. Like, dude, you talk about the Kansas thing, and they started that. I never understood. I'm like, he sticks his hands out to shake it. They put their hands behind their back. Everything from here is fair game. You know what he's about? Baker stands on business. You know what he's about. When you do that, and then he clapped them by 50 and let them know.
Yeah.
I fell in love that day. And the fact that he is now on my team and leading us to victory. And then the Auburn boys are just all over the field. I mean, Jamel Dean was just locked down. I consider Jalen Hurts a Sooner, but the Bama fans consider him a Gump. So it was fun balling out all over him as well. And I said this too, man. I'm telling y'all, you think the Bama and the Georgia fans are bad? Meet you an Eagles fan. Go to you a game where the Eagles fans are at and just watch. World's worst, brother. World's worst. We had an awesome group tonight, man. Y'all hit that like button like everybody's saying in the live chat. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. If you are into Auburn football recruiting, I'm telling you, Friday's episode is going to be lit. So stay tuned for that. It'll be live at 10 a.m., man. We will see y'all then. War Damn Eagle. We're out of here.
War Eagle, baby.